From the studios in beautiful Oceanport, New Jersey, welcome to the biggest and greatest podcast ever. I'm your host, Ray K. Hey guys, hope everybody's well. This is another Catching Up with Ray episode on a Wednesday night. This is exciting because I had a pretty fun week. Last week, we went to Baltimore on a road trip, little vacation, one of those spur-of-the-moment deals. And then from there, we went to Washington, D.C. for a nice 2 to 3 day vacation. Called the night before, booked everything up, and we were on our way. The trip was great. It takes about 3 hours to get to Baltimore. You know, straight down 195 to the New Jersey Turnpike, all the way through to exit 1. And then you just take 95 south. Just follow the signs, and then you go through that tunnel, and then before you know it, you're in Baltimore Harbor, which is the place we go, which is I think it's the only place to go there really for a vacation. A lot of traffic in the city. Once we got over, once we went through the exit onto the harbor thing, there's a lot of diversions. So I had that that radar thing in the car to help us get to the hotel, which was a real nice hotel right on the waterfront. But the road work was all over the place. There's a lot of news about Baltimore now, but you don't notice it, when you get off 95, you go into the harbor, it's a normal city, before the harbor. The harbor's great, safe, you don't feel any danger at all. I guess this bad section must be, west or further away. And as we all know, there's bad sections in every city, but the places that we were at were nice, which was on the harbor. Not that crowded though. There was no real buzz in the air. It was during the week, but it was almost amazing that there was like no one there. I like when there's a little buzz in the air. We used to go there on vacation all the time. This time we went, my wife, my kids, my son, his girlfriend, and it was nice because we went to Little Italy for dinner, it's always nice. Super mellow though. I mean, it was like, sometimes on summer you like to have a little buzz in the air and have like a little crowd, a little action. So it wasn't like that at all. But it was very comfortable. The main gist of the trip was the Washington D.C. Trip the next day. So we rested up. Went in a hotel, nice hotel, like I said. And then next day we shot off to Washington, D.C., which is about an hour from Baltimore. And we had a nice breakfast in a hotel. I mean, real nice buffet. And then we left around 10:30. That's a good time because there's so much traffic in Washington, D.C. It seems like you got to almost plan your day around that traffic. And right around 10:30, we figured we'd get in there at 11:30. We figured it would die out, and it did. There was nothing going in. And it was very easy. So we went into our hotel, which was a great spot, by the way. If anyone wants to go to D.C., the Residence Inn, it must be a 5 or 10 minute walk from D.C. I mean, from the hotel to the mall. It was quick. I mean, it was nice hotel too, adjoining rooms. So it was pretty cool. And we went into the mall. It was kind of an overcast day, a little bit not rainy, but the rain was just ending. It was raining a little bit that morning. So I guess it scared the crowd away because we got there and it was great because it was not crowded. I mean, it was about 78 degrees, so it wasn't that super humidity heat, that you get in the summer, especially in Washington. So this was really beautiful, and we did all the museum things. We took pictures by the Capitol, which is of course impressive. That mall is great. And you look and you see the Washington Monument on the other side. And on the other side of the monument is that waterway in that Forrest Gump thing where the girl jumped in the water. And that's where the Washington Monument was on the other side of that. So it's really laid out great. And you got on the side of those things, those great museums. So we went into a couple of those. You could stay about a week. I think a week's the time. You have to really go for a full week to really enjoy the museums. There's so many of them. That way you're not rushing around. That way you take your time. Because museums are great. I mean, it's history. To me, museum equals history. So you learn about it. You see it with your own eyes. So I went to the American Natural Museum of History and then the American History, the regular I guess I'll call it the people history, So that was cool. I would have liked to have gone to the Holocaust Museum and, stuff like that, because I don't know how many museums there are, but there's tons of them. And it's all first class stuff, So we did a couple museums, and then we had a treat. We decided to go to a Washington National game that night. They were home against the Rockies, and I went on my StubHub thing, and it was same day game, which I think's the way to do it, because I guess the bargainers don't have much bargaining power as you get closer to game time, because they want to sell the ticket. If they can't go, I guess they'll take almost anything. So we waited, around noon. I booked the tickets because I wanted to get them. And it was $39, fourth row, right behind the dugout. And it was like unbelievable. It was like probably the best seats I've ever had. Yankee Stadium, they'd go for at least $300 to $400. I mean, at least. These things were $39, and we walked to the stadium. It was about a 15, 20-minute walk from the hotel, which was, nice to walk. It was a nice summer evening. And no problem getting there. It really looks great when you're walking up from the city. The way that it opens up, and you come in from the outfield, and you see the whole stadium as it opens up into your outfield, and it kind of goes down about into a cavernous 300 feet down. So it really has a nice visual. Very, very, very nice. One of the nicest parks I've ever been in. Of course, the seats help. When you're right down on the field. I mean, there's no better place to see a game. I like the first base side for some reason. I mean, I'm sure the third base side's good too, but I like the visual from that first. I think because you could see the guy running the first, and most of the action takes place between first and second. So now that I'm talking myself into it, I think that's really the reason why I like the first baseline. So we enjoyed it. They had a netting too. I thought they were going to take it down. I thought it was a batting practice netting, but there was a net from, they usually got the one in the backstop that every place has, and then this one goes all the way to right field. Past first base, and then it's it's high, so there's no foul balls can get you or hit you. It's like 20 feet high. You get used to it after a while. This little net's in front of you. You don't even notice it. And it goes all the way down almost to the foul pole. So I didn't quite like that. I like it to be open, I know it's a protective thing, but you really got to be aware of those foul balls. They do come off the bat fast. So I guess it's a tough one, You want to protect the crowd, but then you're missing some of that purity of the game to kind of see it within, there's a little danger factor. You got to be aware of that foul ball. It doesn't prevent the fly balls from coming into the the foul balls, to catch a ball to come into your seats. Nothing was close. Usually there's a close one that comes into my lap. Within, like, you could reach out and touch it. Usually once a game there's that one that's within 10 feet of you. So this time there was nothing real close. The closest was probably 85 feet away. So there wasn't a lot of foul balls in our area. Game was good. I mean, it was a blowout. Probably my biggest blowout. We were rooting for the Nationals because it's always nice to root for the home team. And they won 11-0, so it was like 3-0. I think it was 2-0. I think they scored 8 runs in one inning, then all of a sudden, boom, 10-0 in like the 7th. People leave early. I never leave early. I like staying for the whole game. You never know. I mean, they could score 11 runs in a game. It's happened. So if it happens, your moms will be there. Plus, your moms will get your money's worth and watch the whole game. So it was one of the highlights. It was a great park. If anybody goes to DC, try to build that into your schedule, because it's just a real fun thing to watch the game. So after the game, we walked back, which is a nice walk back as it was getting there. We just walked back to the hotel, relaxed. We saw some museums the next morning. Figured we're there. We could have left early and got back early, but hey, how many times can you get to DC? So we were already there. We went to, I think that's my mother calling again. She always calls when I have these podcasts. I'm kidding, by the way. I think it's a spammer. But we went to a few more museums, and the museums were, I don't even know the ones we went to on this one, but we went to a couple new ones. Actually, what I did was I took a morning walk to the mall around 7 o'clock, and that was the greatest time to go. It's still nice and warm, not too hot. There's hardly anybody there. All mall with those millions of people, for Martin Luther King or when the Beach Boys had that concert. Nothing. There was like no one on the mall, which was cool. That little area, or that big area from the Capitol up to the Washington Monument. So I took the walk up. It's about a mile, about a 20-minute walk up, to the Lincoln Tunnel, the Lincoln Memorial. So I walked up, looked up at the memorial. I know someone threw a baseball off there back in 1922 or something, like the highest ball ever caught, like 700 feet or something. So I tried to envision that. I walked around that, went to the Lincoln Memorial, which was always great to see Abe Lincoln, that iconic thing of him sitting in the chair. As you walk up, he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The way the sculptor did it was so cool. He's like a little face when you're way at the bottom of the stairs, and then he gets a little bigger at each step. I'm sure he had that in mind. And then as soon as you start walking up, and then when you get to that last step into the mausoleum where he is, it's like, there he is, And it wasn't that crowded again. I mean, there were some people there, but everyone was respectful. It was a great crowd. I mean, the whole thing was fantastic. Everybody was, peaceful. Everyone was minding their own business. Everyone was just checking it out and, just looking around at history. It's a great city. They really do it well. We did lunch a little bit after, like the day before, and you could go a few blocks in the city there. It's a lot of government buildings. Very nice, very nice places there. Nice, easy walking around. So it was a top 10. It was a 10 out of 10. I mean, that was a great trip. And we drove back. It was about a 4-hour drive back, which, that's about what it is. I always stop once or twice. Maybe I think this time I did twice. Every couple hours. I think we did twice on this one. Getting there, I stopped twice too. You got to get your little coffee. You got to get your caffeine. Sometimes I'll get a soda. That kind of really keeps me going because you don't want to get tired driving. The older you get, you get a little more tired driving. I used to do these things no problem. Now I kind of need a Coke and a hit of caffeine to get me through. So we did that, and you have a little something to eat. It's nice. And then part two, you drive home. You stop off like exit 5 on the turnpike. You regroup, and then you take it in. So it was a great trip. It was something you should do every year. I think everybody should go there. Try to go for at least 3 to 4 days, though. That way you can relax and see the museums, the Vietnam Monument, maybe the White House. Maybe get into Congress, you get in early. The Mueller hearings were there that day. They were lined up like the day before, which I thought was wild. It was like a U2 concert, as I call it. We're like, what's that line? We're like, oh, yeah, Mueller's going to testify tomorrow. So I guess people want to see the history, so they wait in line. So that was interesting. But during the testimony, you didn't even know it. You're just out there like a normal day, on the mall, So anyway, that was cool. And I want to give you my top 10. This is my fun part of the podcast, which is my top 10 power hitters of all time. This isn't home run hitters now. These are long ball hitters. So I took my time with this list. I think I got a definitive list of my top 10. Number one's going to surprise you because everybody knows I'm a big Babe Ruth fan. But I'm going to go number 1, Mickey Mantle. He hit that facade off Yankee Stadium, almost took it out. 565 in Washington, D.C., actually. Longest ball recordedly hit. The Mick was personified power. So I'm going to go with Mickey Mantle as number 1. Number 2, which was a close second, I'm going to go Babe Ruth. Babe, I always had up there 1, but Mickey, as I was analyzing some of his home runs, boy, he really had that power. Babe was right up there with him. I think he hit an exhibition game, 630 feet recorded. The Babe was the first big hitter in baseball. So I got Babe Ruth number 2. Number 3, I got Harmon Killebrew. Hit those great shots. I mean, he hit those 555-foot shots. He was a compact guy, not big, about 5'9", 220, big guy. Mickey wasn't big either. I was next to Mickey once, and I'm 5'10", and Mickey was the exact same size as me. So, they list him as 5'11". He's really about 5'10", but 5'10", 205. Uh-oh, there's another phone call. See, once you pick these things up, they don't stop, so let me see. I just hung up. Okay, good. It's ringing downstairs. You don't hear it. See, once those spammers know that you're around, they just keep going. It's some kind of, I don't even know how it was legal, but somehow they were able to get around the rules. So number 3, Harmon Killebrew of the Minnesota Twins. Number 4, I got Barry Bonds. I got Barry Bonds, number 4. I was going to say a tie, but I think I just got him alone. I mean, this is even on steroids or not, this guy had power that was unbelievable. You know, on the steroids, he might have been tied with Mantle, you know, because I saw him play in person. I saw him his shots. I just couldn't believe any human could hit, you know. But I'm going to put him 4. Number 5, I got a tie with Dave Kingman and Mark McGuire. I mean, McGuire on the steroids too had that crazy power, you know. So, but I got King Kong Kingman, Dave Kingman. He had that legendary power, you know, especially when it went to the Cubs, when he used to hit it in the street like all the time, it seemed, you know. Number 6, I got a surprise. I don't know if he was known for power, but I've seen him hit some shots. Willie Mays. Willie Mays, number 6. I got number 7, a teammate of Willie Mays. I got a tie between Willie McCovey and Frank Howard of the Washington Senators. 6 foot. He was like probably the first giant guy with, you know, 6'7", 265, with some major power. So 7, I got McCovey and Frank Howard. Number 8, I got the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig. Lou had he had that line drive power. Don't forget, when Babe Ruth retired, Lou Gehrig was number 2 on the home run list. You know, Babe had the 714 at the time. You know, Lou had like around probably 380, and he was by far number 2. And then it was down to like, you know, 285. You know, eventually the players caught up, but Lou was number 2 when he retired at 493. I mean, he was number 2 for a long time, until probably into the 50s, you know, and then even 60s. And I think it wasn't until Mays and all those guys kind of went over 500 that they became, you know, 2, and then Gehrig was 3. But he was 2 for a long time. So number 8, I got Gehrig. Number 9, I got a guy that only played a few years, and then he had an injury to his, I believe it was his hip. One of the greatest football players, too. Probably, if he would have been healthy, one of the greatest all-around baseball players and football players, all-around athletes ever. Number 9, I got Bo Jackson. Do it like Bo, whatever that saying was. He had that power. I mean, you could just hear that bang of the, you know, bat on the ball, and he had some shots. You know, he had 500 feet was nothing for Bo Jackson. He had that nice build, 6 foot speed, that fullback, good running back build. He was a great fielder too. You know, Bo Jackson. He might have been like a Mickey Mantle type if he would have stayed healthy. And number 10, I'm going to put a modern player in there, which is a guy now who's sort of reminds me of Mickey Mantle, local guy, a New Jersey guy that is probably the best player in baseball today, and I think everyone seems to agree that he is the best player. Mike Trout. Mike Trout rounds it out at number 10. He would have been a great Yankee, you know. He had that. He has the looks, he has the speed, he has the fielding, has the arm, has the power. Can you imagine him as a Yankee? Ooh, you know. But he's still gonna be a shoo-in for a Hall of Fame, you know, as long as he doesn't get injured, you know, to cut it short. So Trout, number 10. So that was my all-time power hitting lineup for baseball. We're in mid-season right now. Yankees are about 8 games up. I think they're going to pull it out, but the Red Sox are coming up, so it's going to be exciting as August and September roll around. This is my favorite time of baseball. This is when the pennant race starts to get heated up. You know, this is when it counts. Game 9. You know, I always joke that the Mets always seem to be like, you know, 6-3, and everyone has their hopes up for the Mets. Over time, the talent comes out, and then, you know, the winners will get separated from the losers, you know. So that's what's happening now. You kind of have an idea. If you're within 10, you're within striking range, you know. But the Red Sox are 8, and they're a great team, so they're really in striking range. I think it's going to come down to a race between the Yankees and Red Sox for that pennant. And then the wild card, who knows? There's a lot of teams that are close to it. So in baseball, so many teams have, like the Dodgers and the Giants, you know, lose big leads. So you don't know really until September rolls around. So I mean, it's going to be exciting next couple months. So we'll be talking about it. And I'm going fishing to Cape Cod tonight. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I'll let you know what it's like driving to Cape Cod. How long does it take? What's it like? And we're going to go tonight. I mean, what's it like fishing there? Because my son loves fishing. So we'll fill you in on all that. So it's going to be exciting catching up Ray for next week. Until then, everybody enjoy. This is Ray K. Catch you later.